Let us welcome Toastmaster Yong Yi-wen, Madam President. Yi-wen, over to you.
Thank you, Risan, for passing the floor to me. So in order to honor our organizing chair to organize today's evaluation workshop, right? Today's opening address will be chaired by our organizing chair, Yap Xiaozhen. So she will do the opening speech. May I pass the floor to you, Xiaozhen?
Thank you, President Ewan. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Xiaozhen from Venus Toastmasters Club. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to our evaluation workshop tonight. First of all, we are very honored to have the presentation mastery proficiency Toastmaster Kenny Chia from AFFIN Toastmasters Club to join us as our guest speaker tonight. Kenny is a seasoned evaluator with lots of experience in speech and evaluation contests. He will be sharing valuable insights on evaluation skills and techniques, especially for speech contests. This workshop is focusing to enhance our evaluation abilities, especially for our fellow members who will be participating in the club competitions. This workshop could be a guideline for the evaluation contest. We will have two test speeches. The first test speech will be delivered by Toastmaster Travis Lam from MCJO Toastmasters Club. Kenny will demonstrate his evaluation speech for the first test speech as a practical example. Then, the second test speech will be delivered by Toastmaster Michelle Ma from Venus Toastmasters Club. After the test speeches, we will divide into breakout room section for a hands-on exercise for the evaluation for the second test speech. In each breakout room, there will be facilitator to brief about the speech evaluation assignment, as well as provide feedback and guidance. We are also very grateful to have 6 Toastmasters from various Toastmasters clubs to be the facilitators for tonight. They are Distinguished Toastmaster Kate Sokpo from Farlim Toastmasters Club, Distinguished Toastmaster Louisa Chan from the Lecton KL Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Hasmanjit Un from TMI Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Jessica Ang from Grade 2B Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Wong Xiu Fong from Del PG Toastmasters Club, and Toastmaster Yim Karman from DTM Toastmasters Club. So after the breakout room section, we will be back to the main meeting room to share the evaluation insights and summaries. We hope that this workshop will be an engaging and informative experience that could help fellow members to become supportive, constructive, and helpful evaluator, whether they participate in club competition or provide feedback in their daily lives. So without further ado, I will hand the floor back to our Toastmaster of the evening, Crystal Chin, to begin the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our OC, for this wonderful workshop, and we welcome you from with all our heart from Venus Toastmasters. So a very good evening. Without much ado, I will pass over to the awaited feature guest speaker. Everybody come here for this workshop. All give okay. Can everybody unmute and we give him a big round of applause. Mr. Kenny Chia.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Right.
Yay!
Okay, can someone flash out the slides? Okay, let's just pause here for a little while. Okay, I would like to ask all of you a question. How do you normally feel after your boss has conducted your appraisal? Do you feel motivated? If yes or no, please type in the chat box below. No. Okay, I can see somebody say no. Somebody is motivated. Okay, so it's a combination of both responses. Now, wouldn't you agree with me that anyone can give an opinion, but can they give an opinion in a way that the speaker is able to accept and then feel motivated that they want to do better? So that is the purpose of my workshop for today. Welcome to my workshop on Evaluate to Elevate. So I'm here to guide you through a simple structure that I learned from the best of the best in the evaluation circle. People like Mas Mahathir, who won third place in the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2022. People like distinguished Toastmaster Albert Kaur, whom I have attended his workshop about a year ago in October last year. And of course, Carmen as well, whom I learned the sandwich method. So this structure that I'm going to impart upon all of you can be used for a speech evaluation. And when you demonstrate this structure, when you evaluate, you will demonstrate that you are listening attentively to the speaker and you will help the speaker to elevate in their speeches. Now, before I begin, let me first give my heartfelt thanks to Venus Toastmasters Club for giving me this opportunity to conduct this sharing session with all of you. And this is, in fact, the first actual workshop on evaluation that I've conducted. I've conducted some sharing sessions in the past, but this is the first proper evaluation workshop that I have conducted. And I would like to thank Venus Toastmasters Club for this wonderful opportunity. Okay, can we move to the next slide? Now, before I proceed with my materials, first let me introduce myself, right? So I am actually a relatively new Toastmaster. So unlike what the SAA mentioned, I'm very experienced. Now, the actual fact is I am new. I am a Toastmaster only since April 2023, when AFFIN Toastmasters Club was formed. And I have actually achieved quite a lot ever since then. And in fact, I only started evaluation about 1 year ago after I attended Albert's workshop in October 2023. So for me, I actually went through the whole contest arena. I went through the club contest, the area, division, and of course, I ended up at second place at District 51 evaluation contest. So I'm sure some of you may be wondering, how come such a newbie can achieve second place at district so fast? And considering that I've only done my first evaluation back in October and district contest was in April, it was just a period of 6 months. So I actually have an accelerated growth because of the contest. I went for workshops, I enrolled myself in public speaking courses. I really attended many clubbing sessions in many Toastmasters Club meetings to learn from all the seasoned evaluators. And some of them are actually in this room today. People like Louisa, people like Lei Ting, Hesman, my mentor, and so forth. So for example, like some of these people have actually imparted some of their knowledge to me. And of course, from the workshops I've attended, from the things that I've picked up here and there, the golden nuggets, I have consolidated everything that I've learned into today's workshop. So you are in for a treat, and I'm confident that if you follow what I'm going to share with you, you may even win some of your club contests. Who knows, one of you may be a district champion for the next term. Okay, can we move to the next slide? Hi, next slide, please. Okay, I think there's some technical error. The very first thing that we need to do when we want to become an evaluator is that we have to build our own knowledge, right? Because if we do not have our own knowledge, how can we provide quality feedback to the speaker? So very broadly, a speech, I break it down into 3 categories. You have your content, your language, and your delivery. So what are some of the things that you look out for, let's say, in terms of the content? Can you just type in the chat box below and let me have a look? What will you evaluate in terms of content of a speech? Okay, let me just pause here. Okay, structure, yes. What else? Call to action, fantastic. The key message, wonderful. Okay, yes, all of these are actually part of the content. So you have the structure, the message, whether there's a transformational process, whether the flow, is it logical? Is it inspiring? Yes. whether is there a summary, whether are there any hooks that grabs the attention, personal story, whether does it meet the project purpose. I saw Kelly mention objective, yes. So all of these form part of the content that you can provide as part of your evaluation. Now let's move on to the language. So what are the things that you can comment on as part of your evaluation for language? Okay, type in the chat box below. Descriptive words, perfect, fantastic. What else? Choice of words, yes, correct. Choice of words, descriptive words, the grammar, rhetorical devices, yes, fantastic. Whether they use quotations, whether the language, is it clear and easy to understand, simple, understandable words, fantastic. Now let's move on to the third category, which is the delivery. So what can you look up for in terms of delivery of a speech? Type in the chat box. Okay, let me just pause it for a short while. The tonation, yes, basically in a broad categories, the vocal variety, that's right. Musicality, wow, interesting. And of course, you have things like your body language, the gestures, yes, that's part of body language, whether they use any props, unusual attention grabbers, very interesting. Eye contact, the usage of the stage, for example. Okay, so these are some of the examples for each of these categories that you can highlight in your evaluation. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So what are some of the basic rules? Now, before we can even evaluate a speech, very important, we have to understand what is the project speech purpose statement based on the pathway manuals. So very often we evaluate, I do see some evaluators that evaluate by their own standards, but they do not mention whether did they fulfill the project purpose or not, right? So it is very important that we read the project manual as an evaluator, and then after that, we see whether the speaker has met the project purpose as well as in terms of the content of their speech. Secondly, we evaluate the speech, and we encourage the speaker. So do not attack the speaker. Now, very, very often, I see evaluators putting themselves on a higher level and they look down on the speaker and they just, like they're very tough and aggressive towards the speaker. And this causes the speaker to be very demotivated. And some even quit Toastmasters because of very harsh evaluation. That is not the purpose of evaluation. The purpose of Toastmasters evaluation is that we want to elevate the speaker, uplift, encourage, and motivate, and yet at the same time give constructive feedback. Another thing is that an evaluation is a personal view. So we use a lot of I statements in our evaluation. Just remember that everything that you say to the speaker is your personal point of view. You do not speak on behalf of the rest of the room. So you do not say things like, we all think that you do not have good vocal variety. No, you do not say things like that. Always use the I statement. Keep within the 3.5 minutes allotted. This is very important, especially for contest purpose, because even if you are 1 second over time, you are disqualified from the contest and you cannot proceed any further. It is such a waste to see district level evaluations getting disqualified at a very, very early level. So always discipline yourself to be good with your time management. And I think very important is that, and very often understated, is that the evaluator should connect with the speaker before as well as after the meeting. Find out areas that which the speaker is struggling with and work with the speaker on those areas. Okay, next slide, please. So my very first exposure to evaluation was the sandwich method. And I actually learned this from Carmen, right? So basically, if I can just summarize what is the sandwich method, it is what is good, what is better, and what is good again. Now, while this is a good technique, I think that it is important for us to have a clearer structure so that when we give an evaluation, we present it in a way that the speaker and the audience benefit from the evaluation. And very importantly, they remember the points that you have presented. Because can you imagine, after you present 3 minutes, nobody remembers your points. So it's very important, especially in a contest purpose where you have about 5 to 8 contestants. The judges, if you can make your points memorable to the judges, it will give you an edge. So when you talk about the mass structure, Okay, definitely the first thing that comes to mind will be chocolate Mars bar. You have Bruno Mars, you have the planet Mars. What does Mars stand for? You have M. M is your message. A is what is amazing about the speaker. R are the points of recommendations that you can offer to the speaker to elevate the speech. And finally, the S, the summary, so that the audience can remember the points better. Okay, next slide, please. So let's take a deeper dive into each of these components. So for the message, now, if you forget everything I've shared in this session, just remember this one slide. This one slide can actually help you to win your contest. M, the message. This is the intro of the speech. You will want to reiterate the message to the audience. For example, key phrases and lines that you have taken from the speech, list it down and share it back to the audience. You can also share whether the speaker has met the speech purpose. For example, when I was listening to Ani's message, her message stuck with me, which is that we are all here in this world for a purpose. Now, wouldn't you agree with me that purpose matters? Yes. So starting today, I will remember to foster a sense of purpose in my life to contribute to the life of others. So just something very short and sweet to reiterate the message back to the audience, and that will be good enough for your opening. Secondly is the amazing things that the speaker has accomplished. So you will want to share up to 3. I will say minimum is 2, maximum, I will say 3. Okay, why? If you go for 4, you will actually eat into the time that you have for your recommendations. So what you would want to follow the format of what, how, and why. So for example, Toastmaster Adib, you excel at being very expressive. So expressions is the what. When you said, I went through a very difficult time in my life, you showed us your frustration and your pain through your facial expressions and your voice. So this is the how. This elevated the speech. You made me feel your frustration and your pain. So this is the why. So when you explain the what, how, why, you make it very clear. And then you tell the audience that you have listened very attentively to the speaker's speech. And you'll tell the speaker, this is the part in the speech that you did very well and you are being very specific about it. So remember what, how, why, 3 amazing points. The next is the recommendations. You will want to recommend 2 points of improvement. What is? Why is it important to utilize the points that you have shared? And how can you either you demonstrate or you elaborate with examples so that the audience knows exactly how it looks like and the speakers knows exactly what to improve on. So as you know, a lot of the times we mention about staging. Now, if we stage accurately, it helps the audience to follow the transitions of points in our speech, or it can allow the audience to follow a timeline in a linear motion, or staging can also be used to illustrate locations on the stage. For example, at this point, you are in KL, at this point, you're in Singapore, for example. So let's say, for example, one of my club members, Nadia, she spoke about VAK personalized learning. So normally we will start in the center when we deliver the opening, and you will move to the right, to talk about the very first point, the visual, and then you move to the center to talk about the second point, the third point, and then finally you conclude in the center. So when you actually demonstrate to the speaker about the staging, well, I'm actually seated down now, but if you're standing up, you can move around. Then you demonstrate and you tell the speaker exactly how to incorporate staging into the speech. Last but not least, summary. This is very important. And why is summary very important? Because according to the evaluation judging criteria, a summary is worth 15 marks. So if you do not summarize your points, 15 marks off. And even if you deliver a district level contest, you may end up not getting a placing because you don't have 15 marks for summary. So for example, you summarize the 3 amazing points and the 2 recommendations. You do not need to go into too much detail, right, that you have elaborated earlier. So you can just wrap it up with a nice encouraging line. So for summary, I will encourage 2 sentences. One sentence is on the amazing and recommendation points. A second sentence is on the words of encouragement. So words of encouragement could be something like, I'm sure you've heard it so many times in all Toastmasters meetings, looking forward to your next speech, things like that. But for contest purpose, I would suggest you don't use those lines which are overused because the judges will be bored. So perhaps you can say something like, your speech has really inspired me. So with my recommendations, you can bring your speech to greater heights and more people will be inspired. Yeah. So you just change the words a little bit to make it a bit more interesting. Okay, move on to the next slide. Now, in order to elevate your speech, your evaluation speech, okay, there are 4 speak guides, and you can incorporate any one of these into your evaluation. Now, evaluation very often, when I see it, is quite, how to say, very serious, right? Now, there are many ways that you can spice up your evaluation. Firstly, you can speak to everyone in the room. And how you do this is that what a lot of evaluators do is that they end up speaking only to the speaker. So when you speak only to the speaker, what happens? You ignore the rest of the room. Now, a speech, right, as you know, you need to engage with the audience. You need to have your eye contact, your gestures, your vocal variety, similarly to an evaluation speech. So occasionally you can speak to the speaker, you can talk to the speaker. Toastmaster, say for example, Toastmaster Betty, you can give your points, then you can talk to the rest of the audience. And wouldn't you agree with me that Toastmaster Betty has demonstrated this in her speech? So you can alternate between first person and third person when you evaluate Toastmaster Betty. Secondly, speak like a performance. Now, what does this mean? An evaluation speech is a speech. So you perform the speech, use the staging, use your gestures, use your vocal variety, as if you're performing an international speech contest. Yes. Now, whether this is essential or not, okay, if you ask me, it is not essential. But if let's say you put 2 equally good evaluators together, the one who can perform the evaluation will get the additional, not to say additional marks, will get the edge over the other one that perform it like very serious. Okay. Speak with humor if possible. If let's say you're a naturally funny person, you can always inject humor. And I think very importantly is speak like yourself. Okay, do not copy other people because the judges, right? I'm sure some of them are very experienced. So they have been judging for many years. And if they see that you try to copy some of the great speakers or the great evaluators, they will know immediately. So I think it's very important for you to deliver in your own style, find your own authentic style of presenting your evaluation. Okay, next slide, please. Now we shall move on to the evaluation contest itself. Now, how many of you have participated in evaluation contest before? Can you just type in the chat box, yes or no? So I can have a rough gauge. Okay, so many of you have experience. Okay, I see one no from Travis, no from Kelly. Okay, so for the benefit of those who have never participated, let me just explain how the evaluation contest goes. Now, let's say if you are an evaluation contestant, and let's say there are 5 contestants in your club. Now, what happens is that there will be a test speaker who is only made known to the, I suppose, the contest chair. Okay, it is a secret, nobody knows. And this test speaker will be there in the audience waiting for his or her turn to present the speech. So when the evaluation contest starts, now all the evaluation contestants, they will need to sit in the front row and they'll be given, typically it's a clipboard, a pen and paper. Normally they give 2 pieces of paper and you can write notes during the speech. Now the test speaker will be invited to deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech. Normally it's a very general speech. It is not too specific and it's normally something that is informational in nature or inspirational in nature. It can be a story, it can be an informational kind of speech. So all the contestants will be writing notes, throughout the whole 5 to 7 minutes. And at the end of the 5 to 7 minutes, the SAA will escort all the contestants to a breakout room. So this breakout room is just another room, it's like a meeting room, and you'll be given 5 minutes preparation time. You can write as many notes as you want, you can structure your speech. Now, after 5 minutes, you need to stop writing and surrender all your notes to the SAA. The SAA will hold on to your notes and your clipboard, and then one by one, based on the speaking order, which they have drawn the lots earlier, you will need to go to the main hall. So let's say evaluator number 1, you go to the main hall, the rest will remain in the breakout room. The evaluator will present the speech in front of the audience and the judges, and that's it. So once you've presented your speech, you can sit in the hall, and the second evaluator will be invited into the hall and present the speech to the room. So this repeats until everyone is done and the contest is over. So you may wish to familiarize yourself with the speech contest rulebook. You can download it from the internet, or maybe if Venus, you have this speech contest rulebook, you can share it to the group chat later on. Okay, our next page. All right, so you may be wondering, right? What is the judging criteria like for an evaluation contest? So obviously it is different from international speech, right? Because this is on evaluation solely. So you have, if you cannot remember this, remember ARTS, arts. A stands for analytical quality, R for recommendations, T for technique, and S for summation. So analytical quality is how analytical are you in identifying the points of the strengths as well as areas for improvement. And it has to be very clear and focused. 40% weightage is allotted for analytical quality. Then recommendations. How can you encourage the speaker to improve the speech? So as what I've shared with you earlier, okay, on how you can structure your recommendations and how you can provide examples, elaborations, or if you have time, you can even demonstrate to the speaker how to incorporate that feedback directly into the speech. Okay, so this is 30%. So as you can see, the weightage on the area of improvement plus recommendation actually is very, very high. Okay, now this is very important. Just keep this in mind because I will mention this again in my next slide. The next is the T, the technique, which is 15%. How you say it is very important. Are you sympathetic, sensitive, and motivational? So if let's say you start to talk down to the speaker, you use however, you use the word but, most likely you will get less marks for this. Okay, so make sure that your evaluation is positive, uplifting, and encouraging to the speaker. And as what I've mentioned earlier, the summary is very important, 15%. Now, many times in the evaluation contest, the evaluators spend so much time on the strengths and they really run out of time. They rush through their recommendations and summary. They will just speed like a bullet train, and most likely you will end up losing some marks because you do not elaborate enough. Okay, you need to recap. That's why I've mentioned 2 lines. What are the amazing and recommendation points? And then one final line to encourage the speaker. Okay, it has to be concise and encouraging. Now, one very important question that a lot of people ask, as a judge, should any marks be given for showmanship? What is showmanship? Meaning that how you perform your speech. Now, is that important? Now, according to the judging criteria, there are no marks allotted for showmanship. However, you must remember, judges are also human. They will give marks to people that they like. They feel what they feel about your speech. So if you can perform your speech, present it well with vocal variety and body language, definitely you'll be favored over an equally competent speaker, but who does not perform the speech. Okay, let's just leave it as that. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Now, very, very important. Now, before we move on to the test speaker, time management. Now, this is something that nobody taught me, and I only learned this after Division P contest. Can you imagine? Area contest, I didn't know this. Division contest, I didn't know this. Now, somebody taught me this. Okay, I have to thank this somebody for actually scolding me because I can share that Patricia was one of my mentors for district contest. And she asked me to evaluate her speech, and I got feedback from a district champion from another country. So this district champion actually gave me a very hard time in terms of his feedback. It was true tough love, and his main feedback to me is on time management. Now, this is the maximum time that I would recommend. So if you add up all this time, right, 0.5 plus 1 plus 1.5 and 0.5, that's 3.5 minutes. But definitely you want to keep it within 3.5 minutes, not up to the maximum. So message maximum 30 seconds. Amazing, 1 minute. And you must complete all your strengths before the green light comes on. Now, green light comes on at what time? 2 minutes. Okay. So if you are still talking about amazing points, you see the green light, you need to quickly rush your points. You will definitely be out of time. Okay. Now, recommendations. We allocate 1.5 minutes. So if you recall back the judging criteria, a lot of marks is given for your areas of improvement and recommendations. If you look back at the slide later on. Now, yes, okay, as you can see, right, analytical quality, 40% is for strengths and area for improvement. So I would say that's about, it can be 30-10 or 20-20. Recommendations, 30% there. So you can see you have to spend more time on the recommendations. Okay, next slide. So a good gauge is that you need to be halfway through your first recommendation when the green light comes on. Okay. And when the amber light is on, this is when you start to complete your second recommendation. If you complete your second recommendation when you see the red light, you can still make it because you still have 30 seconds, but you will have to rush through your points to quickly summarize. You may not have enough time. So what I see a lot of time is that people will speak like a bullet train, through their summary, and they probably end up not getting a placing for the contest. Summary, maximum half a minute. Okay, next slide. Now, if we were to draw this out, okay, so this is, I actually extracted this from a YouTube. Okay, so as you can see, you need to finish your positives by 1.5 minutes. Okay, and then the area for improvement, you are actually elaborating on your first area for improvement, and then the green light comes on, and you will have completed it probably around the time when the yellow light is on. And then you have a very, very comfortable about half a minute to quickly wrap up your evaluation. All right, so I think I have shared really, really a lot, and I hope that all of you can digest, but no worries. We can have a short Q&A session towards the end of this workshop, or we can share out the slides later on. So I will pass it now back to the Toastmaster of the day. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Kenny. I learned a lot. So I'm so hungry right now for dessert for Mars. I say,
Okay.
no sneakers, but Mars. All right,
Okay.
guys. And of course, as all of you can remember, judging criteria you have to use is all a piece of art with an S. So it's like an art for you to win over the judges. So thank you very much, Kenny. I learned a lot from you. Okay, so we're going to go over to the test speaker. We have our first test speaker, Travis. Like say Travis.
Hello, check mic.
Okay. Clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So Travis, we have okay, all good?
Yep.
All right. So we have Travis, your personality, your personal reality, Travis.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the evening. Right. Let us do it. Has any one of you in this room has taken any personality test before? If you have, please put up your hands. I can see them. Whoa, there's quite a number of you. Thank you very much. You can put down your hands. And the second question I'd like to ponder with you is, have you ever wondered how does this personality comes to form? Wow, no response. That's why you're here today to listen to my speech. So before I begin to talk about personal reality, I'd like to discuss a little bit on a personality. Because now in the market, we have a lot of types of personality that has been labeled. And one of it that is always with me, this personality is called rebellious. I just like to check, is there anyone also have this rebellion child in you? You? Wow, that's quite a number of you. Thank you very much. Now, I love my wife. If somebody can hear. And she's so good at triggering me. What I mean is that there's one morning, I woke up and I saw that pond of dog pee on the floor. And then when I saw that pee, and the next thing I realized is I just skipped it over without wiping it. Because you see, I could have just squat down and just take a tissue and wipe it. But no, I am not doing that because I always know that she is going to scold me no matter what I do. And at the end of the day, we had a fight about it. But ladies and gentlemen, what I really want to do with you is to zoom in to this moment when I saw that key on the floor. What happened in my mind? Now, at the split second, my mind has just brought me back to 2 years, 10 months, and 8 days ago when I saw my wife saying that, "Baby, you see the dog pee again? So your fault, you never catch the dog." That moment made me so annoyed, embarrassed, and also frustrated at the same time. And there's sometimes some of the moments that I will try to stand up to my rebellious child in me and just fight and make her angry. But at the end of the day, the smart man in this room who has been in relationship or got a wife or a girlfriend will know who wins the battle lah. Because there's there's thing called woman is always right. So the reason why I'm sharing this story is because the more I learn about myself, I found out that the way I think, the way I act, the way I feel is my personality. And my personality creates my personal reality. For example, I have this rebellious personality, and this personality creates a reality that looks like a fight. And this reality has been going on for 2 years, 10 months, and 8 days. Crazy? Right. So as soon as I found out about this nature of mine, I want to work things out. So I go onto trainings to really shift myself and transform myself. And then the first thing I found out that I need to do is this. I got to do is to think about the future, to think about this vision of the future. What do I want? What kind of relationship do I want? And how does it feel? This is number one. And then number two is integrate a new personality into my life. For example, I want a relationship that feels like loving and kind. And in order to have that, I gotta become loving and kind. And I start practicing to become loving and kind. However, when I start becoming loving and kind, I start wiping the dog pee, and still my wife come to me. You will also know use. You will learn also. But because I become a loving and kind man in my relationship, I tell her, dear baby, it's okay. I love you, it's okay. You think you're happy right now? Dear, yes, you are right. Okay, I love you, baby. And the next thing is magical. It just shifted. And the more I do that together, the more it shifts. And that dog pee no longer become the trigger of our relationship. So another way to say is, example that if you are always anxious in a scenario, let's say in a workplace, and you're kind of like wanting a chill environment in your workplace, you're gonna do the thing you're gonna do is to shift yourself into a new personality that looks like a chill person, a chill man, a chill woman. You're gonna be chill until like the boss come to you and say, "Boss, chill. It's okay. We can handle it." And then you can look at him, "Hey, we can settle it. Chill. I think everybody gonna question you, oh, this guy got problem already. And then you're gonna tell them, no, chill. Because I'm learning to become a chill man, to create a chill environment. And as soon as you become chill, a person who loves that chill vibe of you will come to you. And therefore, you're gonna create a new reality that looks like a chill environment. So I'd invite you to become chill, to become the new personality that you want to be. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the way we think, the way we act, and the way we feel is our personality. And new personality creates new personal reality. And To end my speech today, I would like to go with a quote that says that best way to predict the future is to create it. That'll be all. Thank you very much. And back to you, our Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Travis. Like I say, I am a joyful billionaire. I shall be one. I tell myself that every day, okay? I'll learn from this from tomorrow onwards. So thank you very much, Travis. I'll change my story. All right. Like I say. So we're going to give Kenny, are we good to go for your evaluation or do you still need some time?
Okay, good to go.
All right. So over back to you, Kenny, for your evaluation session.
Okay, hang on now, one sec. Toastmaster Travis, thank you for enlightening us that our personal reality is shaped through our perceptions. You have definitely met the project purpose, which is to use both vocal variety and body language to enhance your speech. Now, let me share my evaluation with 5 E's. Now, 3 things you did very well. Firstly, you engage with the audience. And how you engage is through active engagement, whereby you ask us 2 questions in the opening of your speech to grab our attention. Has anyone taken a personality test before? Have you ever wondered how your personality is formed? So immediately you suck this and pull this into your speech. Secondly, you shared a personal story about your wife. And the story is both relatable and humorous because I'm sure all of us can really resonate with that. And by doing this, you help to bridge yourself as a speaker and the audience. Secondly, your expressions. Now, you had a variety of expressions. In fact, you were like an actor on stage. And you illustrated this through your gestures and as well as you had some stage utilization for different characters for yourself and your wife or yourself and your boss. And therefore, you actually brought your entire story to life. Thirdly, your enthusiasm was expressed from your voice modulation, whereby you varied your pitch and your volume. You're so loud and clear, and you actually changed your pitch when you were acting as your wife or as your boss. This elevated the speech and helped to build a greater connection with the audience. I would like to offer you 2 humble recommendations. Another 2 is to elevate your speech. Firstly, is to have greater emotional impact. Now, why? Because when you have greater focus on emotions, you will leave a greater and lasting impression with the audience. Number 1, remember to have your eye at the pinhole camera. Number 2, your facial expressions. Do not smile when you are relating something that you are disappointed or angry about, especially when you are talking about your wife. Secondly, pauses. Now, after asking a question to the audience or after a dramatic moment between you and your wife, give a pause to allow the audience to integrate and feel and absorb your emotions. The last E is to elaborate on your transformational process. Because as human beings, we have a lifetime of habits, and I'm sure changing our reality is never an easy process. So I'll have liked that you elaborated a little bit more on how you transform yourself from being a rebellious person to becoming a chill person. Let me summarize. You have excelled in terms of engagement, expressions, and enthusiasm from your voice. With my recommendations to have greater emotional impact and as well as to elaborate on your transformational process, I believe that you will continue to inspire others to shape their personal reality through their perceptions. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Say Kenny. I believe Kenny deserves 5 A's for his 5 E's.
Thank you so much.
I said, all right. Like say,
If I can just elaborate a little bit.
Yep. Okay.
So as what you can see, I have actually demonstrated how basically the Mars should be structured. So you have the M, right? The message. So you reiterate the message back to the speaker. You tell the speaker whether he or she has met the project purpose. When you talk about the amazing points, typically you try to give 3. Okay, if you give 2, you can. Some people give only 2, but they go very deep. They elaborate a lot on only 2 points. So if you give 3, you can kind of skim through but as long as you answer the what, the how, and the why, And then finally, the recommendations. Give 2. What, how, what, why, and how. Then finally, a quick recap, 2 sentences on the amazing and recommendations, and 1 final line to encourage the speaker for the future speech. Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Okay. Now before we go into our second test speech speaker. Okay. Timer, do we have time for a short break?
Okay, currently it's 8:40. Yeah. I think we can have a 3 minutes break.
Okay. I think it's 8:48 right now. Let's have a 2 minutes break. Oh, sorry, 8:49. So let's have a 2 minutes break. We come back at 8:51.
All right.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me see. I think there's a question in the chat box. Okay, Kaman, may I seek for your advice based on your experience in the contest? How do you manage your nervousness in the breakout room before being called on the stage, especially if you are the first one to go up? Wow, this is very, very unlucky if you're the first one. You know why? Because you have the least time to prepare. If you ask me my favorite, if let's say there are 6 contestants, I like to be number 3 or number 4, somewhere in the middle. I don't like to be the first one. So I've never actually experienced this. Hesman, maybe you can you can help out. Have you ever been the first contestant to go up on stage for evaluation?
Not really, actually. Usually I'll normally get the slot for the second, third, or usually the last one as well. So yeah, I can't really share much as well.
You got the first before. Okay, Jessica mentioned that. I suppose it doesn't really matter because you are actually given 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes to prepare in the breakout room. So during that 5 minutes, you really, really have to write very, very fast. You have to think very, very fast and just jot down as many things as you want. But one thing that I can share actually towards the end of this workshop, I will share something with all of you, which is that evaluation, you can partial prepare. It is not 100% impromptu. So you can actually have some kind of a framework, whereby no matter what the speaker says, you will have your points. Say, for example, generic points like engagement, expression, staging. Definitely all the speakers will do that. So you already have this in your mind, right? So when during the breakout room 5 minutes, you quickly jot down. And then you just remember this format of what, how, why. Make sure you answer these 3 questions. Write down the notes. Make sure you quote some examples from the speech. Why is it important? As long as you have all these points, and even if you're the first to go, I will say that you can reduce your nervousness based on your experience. So that means you just have to keep on doing speech evaluations. So whenever your club asks for speech evaluators, you volunteer. Yes, let me try. Make all the mistakes as you can during the club meetings, go clubbing, try as many times as possible, make all the mistakes, but make sure that in time for your contest, you are ready. So when you have a lot of experience, and even if you have less time to prepare, you will be less nervous. I think that's the best answer I can give.
Thank you, Kenny. That really helps.
Thank you. Okay, let me see. Comments on authenticity. I have a question. Okay, what is your question? Authenticity.
Hi. Yes.
Yes.
So, Kenny, this is about how to diplomatically put it forward when you feel that a speech is more scripted and less connecting with the audience. Let me just give you an example. Like in today's
Okay.
speech, I noticed that for the hypothetical questions, there was absolutely no time for anyone to really raise their hands. So that takes away from the feeling that this is an authentic question to us. It is impossible in that fraction of a minute for people to raise hands. And the second thing is about the wife's voice. It was so, how do I put it, a little overdone to a point where I really couldn't understand what exactly the script was.
I see.
How,
Okay.
yeah, so how do you put this diplomatically
Well, just
if you're
state the
doing an
facts.
evaluation?
Nah, just state the
Okay.
facts. Now, but of course you don't use words like such as your speech is crap, is rubbish. You don't use words like that. You can say, in my humble opinion, this is how you can improve. Okay, perhaps you can enunciate your words better, so that it's clearer. The audience can listen to what you are expressing. You have to be very factual. Let's put it that way: factual and objective when you give your comments. But always be honest, because when you try to how to say, I've seen some evaluation contests whereby the evaluators were just talking rubbish. They give recommendations which were not in sync with what the speaker is saying. So the judges will definitely mark you down for that. So make sure that it has to be really in sync. And yeah, I agree with you. You just have to be direct, honest, factual. Don't attack the speaker. Just state what it is. Yeah. So I think that's probably the advice I can give for your question. Okay, I hope that answers your question. If not, we can have a private chat in the chat box. Okay. Okay, there's somebody who's asking, can start jotting down during the test speaker speech? Yes, you can. As what I've mentioned earlier, you'll be given your clipboard and 2 pieces of paper, right? As you can start writing as many notes as you want. So typically what I do you know why they give 2 pieces of paper? Because, okay, this is what I use the 2 pieces of paper for. The second paper, I will write notes. I'll try to summarize the speech. The other piece of paper, I'll jot down my points. What are the amazing points? What are the recommendations? What's the message? What's the conclusion? I'll write down those key highlights, and then I will try to extract the examples, from the summary. When I try to jot down all the notes from the speech, I'll try to basically extract it and put it into my first piece of paper. Yeah. I will show you a template that I use later on, okay, towards the end of the workshop. Okay, I think we are
Back.
It's time,
On
right,
time.
to move on?
Yes, all right, say. So thank you very much, Kenny, for answering some of our mind-boggling questions. All right. Before we go into our next session, if you don't mind, can we all can we all open up our videos? We would love to see your beautiful faces and handsome as well. All right, say. So can we have the Zoom master to, let's have a group picture, and then let's have the Zoom master. Zoom master Rayson, can
Yes, can everyone please turn on your camera? Yeah, we will have 2 pages, yeah. So ready? The first page, 1, 2, and smile. Okay, wait me a while. Second page. 1, 2, smile.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh, we have a third page?
No. You all want to use the freestyle, like showing love to Kenny. Thank you for bring out the workshop, make this happen. So let's just try the emoji. Okay, 1, 2, smile. Okay, another page. Wait, sorry. 1, 2, smile. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Rayson. So before we go into our next test speaker, let me remind all of you to get your pens and your paper ready. 2 of it, because this is where you'll be taking notes. You start your evaluation jotting down. All right, say for your evaluations. So if you need paper and all, run right now and go get it, grab it, pens, okay? We will do our evaluation in our breakout rooms. So this is where you take down the notes, and uh, that's it for now. I'm going to hand over to the speaker. So we have our test speaker today, Michelle Ma, who's attempting her level 3 pathway, inspire her audience in strategic relationship. Her speech title is Championship. So Michelle Ma, Championship, Michelle Ma.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. A good evening to all the Toastmaster here. So my topic is actually about championship. What champion means to you? These are some of the questions that I always ask myself. Being at the top among the rest, or standing at the wall of the fame to receive the highest recognition and respect from others? But is champion important? Being a champion, is it important? To me, it can gauge the position I stand when being involved in the area that I'm competing. Mixing with the right crowd will also level you up and myself up to the next level. Besides that, giving the amount of pressure to myself due to my limitation of my ability to fit to the next level. Sometimes you might not know if you're not sitting in the chair to get towards championship. You will never know whether you will get fitted or not. Life is like a journey, pushing yourself level up with also having limitations, but at least I know I tried my best. What do we need to do, fellow Toastmaster, in order to get championship? It will be the dedication, the commitment, and the time and effort that are key essentials to bring a champion back home. It's not an easy journey. I would like to share my experience on my little girl, of her character moving towards being a champion. Her resilience. She is actually 10 years old, and I onboard her to join the global art competition. And she has to compete with 400 participants that are at the age of 10, 11, and 12. But she's only 10. Am I pushing her too hard towards championship? Or is it a learning ground for her? To move her and to mold her towards champion? It's not an easy journey for her. Really, it's not easy. She has to train herself to keep drawing and coloring for the past 2-3 months relentlessly. It's been months and months of practicing on drawing the human. At her age, is not easy to comprehend. And the measurement of the character to fit into the A4 paper and to strategize what color come first and what color come later. This is not easy for her, but she managed to go through it. And on that day of the competition, I give her full moral support. I think championship might not be that important, but it's the effort you have put in for that few months that bring you to what you are today and do your best. She actually tainted her drawing in terms of drawing the flag and coloring the flag, the Malaysia flag, because the topic is actually Malaysia. She came out from the exhibition hall after the competition and she cried. She told me she didn't do well because she tainted her drawing. As a mother, what should I say? I told her it's okay, no worries, you already tried your best. She told me, should I wait for the announcement because there will be winner announcement for the 2-3 hours later. We waited and waited and waited. And it's not a good news that brought to us. She got only consolation. Anyhow, life is not always as expected, despite much effort being put in. But if you don't put effort, you never get to anywhere. And growth mindset is equally important, viewing challenges as opportunity to learn and improve. And getting ready, I'm also getting her ready for next year's global art competition. She didn't tell me that she doesn't want to join or give up. She said she will try again, and this time will be even better because she will practice her drawing skills and coloring skills and enhance her own art skills. I'm glad she took up a challenge to pursue for next year's and getting ready. But the thing is that I also signed her up for aromatic competition at the same time. So I told her, you fought in, in art, but you can gain it back in maths. And also it needs effort and time and dedication. It's not an easy journey as well, but she managed to pull through and she got first runner-up. So I told her, never give up in whatever you do. It's important. So to me, trophy, is it important? Is it necessary? A trophy, it's a recognition of what you have achieved along the way in your journey. Maybe 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you'll come back and say, oh, that time at that day, this is what I've achieved along the way. It will be remembered what you have did years ago. It's like leaving a legacy behind. To me, it's a joy of the process of getting to championship. It highlights the enjoyment of you finding the journey yourself, not just the destination, but you evolve along the way through the journey to get there, because you will find ways to overcome your challenges and your grit will come in place to get to where you would like to be. That's all for my speech of championship. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I say, so you are definitely a champion and you're teaching me to never give up. All right, like I say, so now we invite all the participants to our breakout room. So Zoom Master, we're going to send, and you will have facilitators there for you to take your evaluation. So Zoom Master over.
It's
Going
like,
to close the room.
okay.
They are going to come back in 15 minutes. Sorry, 15 seconds. I know how
Okay.
it feels because upon my VPE time, I almost every week got 2 meetings just to grab the role players to help our club meeting.
Okay.
You need to pay back for others.
That's right.
Welcome
Correct.
back.
Hi,
Welcome back.
thank you.
Not enough time. Not enough
Yeah,
time.
I haven't give the
Haven't
feedback yet.
give feedback. Representative, you shoot us back already.
Never mind. I do the announcement, or do the broadcast, some more give
Group 5 completed.
Wow.
Yay.
Cannot. I just want to get to the juicy part, then you cut off already.
Yeah.
Start my evaluation. I haven't started.
Oh,
You all want to come back, but you all want to go back by 10:30, then I can give you all extra time. So you all want to discuss on who's going to represent each group?
We haven't talked about that
Yeah,
yet.
haven't yet.
For Group 5, Peter is the is the rep.
Wow.
So group one, who will be the represent? Volunteer?
Pintu, yeah.
Bintu.
Pintu, yeah.
Bindu. Okay, Bindu will be representing.
I
Group two?
think
No, we haven't talked about that. I just finished all the 5 evaluator and gone. We are back to the room.
You are too into it and then you didn't solve my.
Actually, we also not go into the evaluation yet. Actually, Pintu is halfway delivering her evaluation, then already being kicked out.
Sorry. But now, can you all decide who going to be, or you all want to go back into the breakout room again?
I
Come,
think the
everyone make.
facilitator can decide, yeah? Like
I
just
personal message really one speaker.
okay. For my room, I think I'll stay back for a while so that they can get recommendations as well. We'll continue on with the meeting first, my suggestion, so that at least we can end on time. For those of us who want to continue on later on, we can pick back later. And for my room, I would like to nominate Anita because she's the same club as Kenny. So I want to hear her speak. Okay.
Anita, be nominated like this. Okay.
For my room will be Raihana.
Hannah, okay. So how about Kay, your room?
The rest okay, right? My room one, okay, yeah?
So room 2, who wants to volunteer? I'm really sorry because we just completed 5
Actually,
evaluation.
the selection of the rep should be done first, so that at least if the line cuts off, then you know who exactly will speak.
We don't even have the time to talk about that yet. Oh, June, you want to be volunteer? Sorry, I have to volunteer you.
You are the one that do the rap here. Okay, you just do the rap. Since your group haven't discussed anything, you haven't give the evaluation, right?
No, I haven't. I think we just continue lah. I will meet them after, just like what Kamun suggested. So 5 of us will gather again in the breakout room. Then we just continue. So it's not fair for me to volunteer any of them to give the evaluation. Why don't we just skip group 2 lor?
Thank you.
Okay. So now I would like to hand over the session to our Toastmaster of the evening, Crystal. Crystal, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rizan. I say, so I believe we have facilitators and we have a summary. So can we go to the first row? I believe Xiu Feng, you are the first facilitator. Am I right? Okay. So Xiu Feng, who I believe you've already appointed Bindu. Okay, can I have Bindu? Bindu, maybe you can give us a summary.
Not summary lah. It must be the full evaluation.
Yes.
The full evaluation, sorry.
Yeah.
Would you like me to proceed with the full evaluation?
Yes.
In this case, then we will need to request timer help. Sergeant,
Yes.
can you do the timing? Thank you.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, Bindu, over to you.
Michelle, first of all, I would have to commend you on the choice of your speech today, because it is so relevant, so effectively relevant at this period of time when we are facing competition, championship. It's such a meaningful thing to not only for the season, but to all of us. And your message regarding championship, I felt it was 2 prongs. You had 2 messages there. One, it is you made us reflect on what championship meant to us. And then you showed that it could mean so much more. It could be about the journey, about how important that journey was, and that persistent faith. So there are 2 aspects to your message, 2 very meaningful aspects. And considering that your project is to inspire your audience, there is a lot of scope for inspiration there. The second thing that really made your speech impactful was your choice of story. storytelling, of course, is the best way to connect with anyone. You chose your daughter, and you had an advantage in this story because when you're talking about championship, there are two aspects of it. You could be the champion, or you could be the person cheering the champion, and you gave a scope to be in either one of these shoes. Now, my recommendations for you are not going to be on the content because I feel that your structuring as well as your content was really met your objectives and really had a very impactful message. It is more a little on how you can make that connection a little better, as in how you can sustain that connection with the audience a little more. One would be about the beginning and the end. I did notice that you had a little dependency on script. Now, if that happened, my suggestion to you is concentrate on not using the script for the beginning and the end. The beginning is your hook and the end is your take-home message. And believe me, the middle, the story just comes natural. The second aspect is pauses. We all know that pauses are so useful for allowing you to absorb the message. What I noticed is that your pauses were there after every 2 to 3 sentences, but I would maybe advise you to use this pause a little more effectively in breaking up your structure. After your intro, after a hypothetical question, and after your story. Now, when the areas where you don't need pauses, that is something that Toastmasters sometimes don't tell you, and that would be a conversation. If you want a conversation like the conversation with your daughter to be a little more natural, I would avoid a pause there. But overall, I feel that you have a fantastic structure for an impactful speech that you can repeat. My suggestion would be just a little more practice in the delivery, and this can be an excellent contest speech. So back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Bindu, nicely for your evaluation. So we're going to go over to the facilitator 2, which is Kay. Kay, can I have your nominee?
Just now we agreed that we skip.
You skip
two.
yours, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Hasman.
Retno,
Retno?
over to you.
Thank you. Give me 1 second. Thank you very much. Hi, Toastmaster Michelle. Thank you very much for sharing your speech tonight. You definitely has met the objectives of your speech purpose. You chose a very provocative title for your speech tonight. Championship. Who doesn't want to be a champion? In every way, of course. From your speech, I could see that you know very well about your subject. You mentioned about the effort, the time, the commitment to be on top of your game. And also you share your experience, personal experience, which I think is so precious, about how you support your daughter as a mom to join a competition, a drawing competition. Not just one though, you also encourage your daughter to join a math competition. You show your daughter that it's okay to not to be a champion, but you recognize the process. And I think it's very, very powerful. I really love them. And also one point is not to give up. However, maybe I should not saying you however, speaking of that, I would recommend that you probably would be better off if you also use the dialogue between you and your daughter. That would be much more interesting. So my recommendation as well, another one is your expression, your eye contact. We would love to see your emotion. Sometimes eye contact can also show the emotion, and that will be more attractive in your speech. So all in all, we really love your speech. It really very inspiring, and definitely it motivates us. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing your speech tonight.
Thank you so much, Retno. I see. So we have next Anita. All right. So over to you, Anita.
Thank you, Crystal. Michelle, what can I say? You reminded me of the current world champion of public speaking, Luisa Montalvo. It's hard to be in a box, isn't it? You can't freely move. You have limited hand gestures. So what do you use? And this is what I liked about how you delivered your speech. You actually used your voice. Okay, many people can tell you, beef up the vocal variety and all that. But for me, because you were conversing with me, you were sharing with me, it didn't really matter that you didn't have ups and downs. You had a steady, comforting voice. Because why? You're telling a story that's close to your heart. And even if you did not give me a lot of vocal variety, I could actually hear the raw emotion in your voice. Why? Because you're talking about someone you love, someone who went through an artist's journey. Think about the content, folks. Who hasn't been through competition? Who doesn't want to win? Who has never struggled? Second thing I like is the content. It's relatable. And it's so real because I'm sure it has happened to each and every one of us. Wise topic to choose. Instantly, everyone can grasp your story. They may know what's coming next, but it's okay. They still want to hear the story. So what does that land? Authenticity. And when you're authentic, people trust you and will listen to you. I wonder if you had been able to let go of your script and just speak from your heart. Just picture in your mind those moments when you went through that journey with your daughter. I'm sure you may stutter, you may lose a few words, but it becomes more authentic because you feel it when you remember it in your mind, and we can hear even more emotion. It's always easy to read off a script, but when you don't have a script and you have to use your mind, then you have to pick on all the little things that you can add in order to send your message across to each and every one of us, especially in this little tiny box. What can I suggest which will make me feel more with your story? For one thing, I thought that the message could have been stronger. You ended with a message that says the journey is more important than the final prize. But as I think back to your story, I didn't grasp the struggle. If you could tell me the struggle and how that struggle was more rewarding than the final prize, you definitely win me over with your message. All in all, I love the authenticity. It's relatable to everyone. The fact that this was a small box, you used your emotions to relay that message to me was enough to let me feel inspired to compete, maybe. All in all, I would say give more authenticity by letting go of the script, speak from your heart, and trust me, your message will touch our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anita. Okay. I'm all ears and it's super authentic. I feel you. All right.
Different from how I presented just now.
I wouldn't know that. Like say, okay, so I have Peter going next.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Michelle, tonight, your speech has the hallmarks of a champion speech. There's 2 points that I find amazing in your speech. Number one, you use an encouraging message. During your speech, when you tell about the story, how you talk to your daughter, it was very encouraging. You told her, even though you won the consolation prize, even even if you didn't win in coloring, there are other avenues that you can win in, which is maths, for example. You demonstrated that losing is not the end of the journey. There's a new path that you can create. I really love that in your story. The second point that I find amazing is that you had an amazing story. Your story had the beginning, the preparation, you had the tension when things, how it turned out for the coloring competition. Oh, it's only a consolation prize. But there's a nice resolution where she won second place in her maths competition. By having a story, it is important because it makes it easy for the audience to bring the message back home. There are 3 ways that I find in my suggestion could elevate your speech. One, you could have used the painting that your daughter have drawn as the way to start off your speech, to grab our attention. Point number 2, during your speech, I find that it was distracting the way you looked down at your script. My suggestion to you is that you could pay attention, look at the audience, and complete a single sentence or thought. In this way, you've demonstrated paying eye contact to the audience. And my third point is that may I recommend you using hand gestures in the future. Hand gestures grab our attention. The hand gesture that you can make is that whenever you mention champion, is it when we have obtained, or we have become a champion? Do we find ourselves worthy? For me, championship lies in the journey. You could use hand gestures in this way. All in all, keep up on your encouraging message. Keep up on using a structured story, and a nice story at that. Remember to use your painting, any prop that could grab our attention. Remember to not look down. And in the future, I would love if you could use more hand gestures. Overall, your speech tonight has championship potential. Back to you.
Yay, group 5.
Well done, Peter. I said. All right, can we have Rahana next?
Thank you very much, Crystal. Michelle Ma, with your speech entitled Championship and your purpose to inspire your audience, congratulations. Consider me, your audience, inspired. I thought your speech was brilliant in the sense that it had a very strong message. You spoke about championship. I love how you started off your speech by asking all the audience, what is championship meaning to you? Why? Is it important? Is it not important? It made us all think. So when we were thinking with you, we were on that journey of digesting the meaning of championship and how, when you said that the growth throughout the championship and not just winning is important, we felt that and we were with you in your journey, Michelle. I thought with that, and by sharing your personal story, how you helped your daughter to go through her Global Arts Championship, despite not winning the championship, it helped to form a very holistic approach to your story, and it made us understand why going through the championship process is more important than being a champion itself. What I thought you did amazing in your speech was, it was a very structured speech. It was very easy to follow. You used simple language, and it felt sort of conversational. So it was a very intimate conversation. and was very easy to follow. You communicated with the audience well, and throughout, we were there with you. Now, if I can only recommend some improvements to your speech, I would recommend 3 Ds to bring your speech to the next level and make it dynamite. The first would be distance. You know how they say distance makes the heart grow fonder? In this case, it might work in your favor, because when you're too close to the screen, I love your beautiful face, Michelle. However, I lost out on your gestures, especially when you were describing how your daughter had to draw certain things for her competition. I thought that you had some good gestures there. It's just not visible enough because you were too close to the screen. Secondly, perhaps you can become more descriptive while using more descriptive words, perhaps telling us how the tension was when there were so many people in that competition room and how your daughter was very nervous. Use descriptive words to tell us a story of that condition. And third, you can also dramatize. Like dramatizing, for example, maybe you can animate your story. Perhaps use a different tone for your daughter to describe. I'm sorry, I tainted my drawing. I don't think I'm going to win. So when you use those things to animate using your tone, your speech would come across as more animated and it would illustrate your points more. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, strong message. Just to take into my recommendation, a bit of distance, improve your descriptive language. You're telling the story and dramatize a bit. And I think you're on your road to becoming a speech champion yourself. With that, I thank you.
Thank you, Rahana. Well done. And we're back to our champion evaluator, Kenny, for his closing remark.
Hey, can I have the slides back? Okay, move on to the next slide. Okay, well done to everyone. So I can see that everyone has already grasped the concepts and you were able to apply it immediately into your evaluation speeches. Well done. And I think if I listen to all the 5 evaluators, I think all of you have definitely grasped the concepts. And allow me to just give you some additional tips, okay, before we call it a night. Sorry, the screen, can you shrink it a little bit? Okay, so normally what I will do every time when I receive like in an evaluation contest or even when I serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting, I will take out a piece of A4 paper and I will draw out the paper like this. Okay, so that I will remember to key in or input all the MARS. Yeah, so you can, as what I've suggested, you can do 3 plus 2 or even 3 plus 3 if you have time. And I think the lowest you can go is 2 plus 2. Okay, I've seen people win area contests with only 2 plus 2, but they explain the points very, very, very detailed. Yeah, so you can afford to do 2 plus 2 and still win a contest. But in most cases, what I can see is people do a 3 plus 2, 3 amazing points and 2 recommendations. Most cases. Now, what I would like to leave with all of you before we call it a night, okay? It is possible to partial prepare. So just now, Kaman was saying, how do you reduce your anxiousness if you are the first evaluator in a contest? Always remember, evaluation is not 100% impromptu. Okay, let me explain. Every time when you serve as a speech evaluator, okay, you will learn something new, right? So I would suggest that you volunteer to serve as a speech evaluator as many times as possible. And what I did when I prepared for my district contest is that I record my performance. And I will send a recording of my performance to my mentor. I have a few mentors. I send to all of them and I ask them to give me feedback. And every time when I perform the speech evaluator role again, I'll try to incorporate the feedback as far as possible. Secondly, make sure that your evaluation points, whether 3 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 2 plus 2, or whatever, it covers the entire speech. Now, what a lot of evaluators, sometimes what they forget to do is that they focus too much on delivery. They do not focus anything on the content. Make sure that of the, let's say for a 3+2, the 5 points that you highlighted, you have fully covered the opening, the body, and the conclusion. So how did the speaker open the speech? Was it strong? Were there any hooks that the speaker has used? For example, the speaker asked a question to engage the audience, ask the audience to imagine a scenario, or perhaps even give a quotation to quote some credible sources, research finding to grab the audience attention. The body, what is in the body? Is it structured? How is the flow like? The personal story? Does it have the hero's arc journey, like one of the speakers have mentioned, right? Whether you have the beginning, the tension, the resolution, that kind of thing. Is it all there? And how did the speaker conclude? You can always focus on the ending. Now, let me share with you a very easy evaluation tip, which is majority of the speakers don't focus enough on the conclusion. So you can always see whether did they end the speech well with a strong message, with a call to action. So you can immediately come up with a recommendation from that point. Third point I would like to leave with all of you is to seek feedback from seasoned Toastmasters on your performance. So every time I perform a speech evaluator, whether it's TTE, whether it's SE, whether it's GE role, I will always approach one of the seasoned Toastmasters and ask for feedback. So learn from your mistakes. For club meetings, make as many mistakes as you want. You can go over time, but make sure that you learn from all your mistakes and you try to discipline yourself to incorporate all the learnings into your future performance. Fourthly, buddy up with a friend. So what I can share is that I buddied up with 2 people during my journey. Okay, one was from District 51, one was from 102, and my friend from 102 actually ended up winning Division E evaluation contest. Yeah, so we help each other throughout the whole journey with our respective district contests, and we record our own performance, and we actually send videos to each other to give each other feedback. Okay, so this is what you can do. Now, the 5th point is what I was trying to say earlier when I was talking to Kaman, that you can actually partial prepare your evaluation. Build a framework to house your knowledge bank. So as you progress through your Toastmasters journey, whenever you listen to the evaluation session of the meeting, you can start writing down notes and build up your knowledge bank. So every time when an evaluator gives a very interesting point, write it down, say, this is something that perhaps you have never thought about before, a way to present the evaluation. So just write it down and just keep it into your notebook and see when you can use it in the future. Okay, so this links to the next point, which is to pay attention during the evaluation session. And for those going for evaluation contests, I challenge you, watch YouTube and evaluate the world champion speakers. Now, why? Because normally for evaluation contests, your test speaker will be someone who is very, very good with public speaking. So it will be a challenge to find any areas of improvement for this speaker. So challenge yourself to evaluate the world champion. If you can evaluate the world champion speakers, definitely you can evaluate your test speaker. Last but not least, try to stand out from the rest. You see, like for example, I've listened to 5 speakers. Now, can you actually recall the points that each speaker has mentioned? That is the most important thing. You must remember that if you are a judge in a contest, you have to listen to something like 5 to 8 evaluation contestants. And at the end of the contest, can the judge remember your points? That is the most important thing. So you need to stand out. You can use hooks, ask questions, converse with the audience, perform your speech. If possible, not compulsory, use an acronym. Now, let me share with you what happened during my District 51 evaluation contest. Can we move to the next slide? I'm going to give you an analysis of the top 3 places of the evaluation contest for District 51. So the first placer was Mas Mahathir. Okay, so he started off his evaluation by sharing a joke that was related to the speech. I cannot remember the joke right now, but it was something humorous. So definitely it grabbed the audience attention and built the connection with the audience up front. He used an acronym, ACE UP. You see, even 6 months after my district contest, I still remember all his points. ACE UP, the amazing points, authentic, compounding. So compounding means that it is basically a technique whereby you layer your humor. You keep on using similar examples to keep on building up the humor, so the audience will just keep on laughing. And the last point is engagement through her expressions, and the test speaker used a prop during her speech. For his recommendations, he used the acronym of UP, U, and P. Unification. So unification basically means that because the test speaker did not use her speech title in her speech, the speech title was live in patches. So in a nutshell, the test speaker was speaking about how her life from becoming rich, because of hard times, she actually had to save money, and she became very, very savvy in terms of her financials. She started to cut down on various aspects of her life and started to live more simple. So she never used the speech title live in patches in her speech at all, right? So this is what unification means. So you need to use the speech title throughout the entire speech. And last point that he used was positioning, to use the stage as a timeline and to have different points on the stage to illustrate different timelines in your speech. Okay, next. So I got second place. Okay, so my hook was a quote about life. And I memorized quotes. Okay, so I had something like 5 quotes which are very general. And I will listen to the speech and I see, this is a chance for me to use this quote. Okay, so I quoted a quote about life in general, which was related to the speech. And I had the acronym of 5 Ps. So all my commendations and recommendations all started with the letter P. So the first is the pull factor. So pull factor is at the opening of the speech. So what did the speaker do? She asked a question. Now, ladies, do you like jewelry? Please raise up your hand. So immediately grab the attention. Second P was personal story, because she shared a story about her life suffering through the Asian financial crisis and how she had to cut back and trim back her life. So it was relatable and she had a lot of humor in her story. She expressed passion through her body language, and I quoted examples how she used effective body language in her speech. For the recommendations, I offered 2. One is on the personal struggle, whereby when she talked about the struggles when she was suffering during the Asian financial crisis, along with her family, she was using high energy and tone all throughout the entire speech. So I recommended that she can soften her tones and use some pauses in order to amplify the impact of the personal struggle so the audience can feel her struggle better. And last but not least is personal accountability. So this means that I was focusing on the ending, the conclusion, because I felt that her message was not really memorable and actionable. So memorable, I also suggested the same thing as Mas, whereby she needed to use her speech title a few times throughout the entire speech so that it becomes very memorable. And actionable, I was suggested to her that she perhaps could ask a question or suggest to the audience what they can do with her message. Okay, move on to the next slide. Now, the third placer was Suwan Bonmore. Now, I did not get the privilege to listen to his speech. This is what my friend wrote down for me because he was the very first speaker. And you see amazing points that Suwan came up with despite being the very first speaker and very limited time to prepare. He started off with a hook related to the test speaker, and his acronym was 5 E's, very similar to my 5 P's. Engagement by asking question. Expressive, the entire speech, she acted it out like a movie. Enlightening message from riches to rags. So his recommendations was to enlarge the moment, to slow down her speech, the rate, the pace in the sad moments, and to end with a call to action. So as you can see, actually all the top 3 places, all our points I would say are equally strong. Okay, so it is truly up to the judges who they will pick as the winner. Okay, and I can only speculate and guess that Mahathir won because of his performance, because I will say that all our points are equally strong. But what Mahathir did better than I would say myself, I couldn't comment for Suwan, is that he really performed his speech. Full of body language, full of gestures. He used the entire stage and he really performed his evaluation like a speech. So that gave him an extra edge. And I think his acronym was also more memorable than our 5 E's and 5 P's. Yeah, that is just my humble opinion only. Okay, I think that's the last slide, right? See the next slide. Okay, and that's all from me for today. I hope all of you have gained a lot from this session. Okay, and as I promised, I really want to make it worth your time to spend 2 hours in this workshop with Venus Toastmasters Club and myself. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming club contests. And I hope that we will have a district champion from this workshop. Because if we have a district champion from this workshop, it means that I have succeeded in my role as a speaker today. And if you have any further questions, feel free to drop a message in the WhatsApp group. I will try to answer to each and every one later on. Okay, thank you. I'll pass the time back to the TMD.
Thank you so much, Kenny. Okay, can we have our OC, Xiao Zhen?
Yes. Okay. So now will be the award and recognition to our guest speaker, facilitators, and 2 test speech speakers. So wow, this is really a fruitful section from all of you. So without all of the guest speaker and the test speech speaker and facilitator help, so this event won't be successful. So thank you every one of you. And if the recognition certificate ready. All right. Okay. So yeah, I really appreciate Kenny Toastmaster Kenny Chia from AFFIN Toastmaster Club. Thank you for joining us as a guest speaker today. Thank you so much. We have to take a picture.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, look at the camera. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much, Kenny, for your presence tonight.
All right. Next is our facilitator, Toastmaster Wong Xiu Feng. Thank you, Xiu Feng, from Dell PG Toastmaster Club. Thank you for helping to facilitate in the breakout room. Thank you so much. So please take a picture.
Right. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you. Done. Thank you so much.
Next is our distinguished Toastmaster, Kate Sokpo from Falim Toastmaster Club. Thank you, DTM, Kate Sokpo. Yeah, please take a picture.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, Kay.
And next, Toastmaster Hermanjit On from TMI KL Toastmaster Club. Thank you for being a facilitator today.
Has Manjit already left?
Oh, has Manjit already left? All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one later we send to him. Okay, next. Okay, next, Toastmaster Yim Karman from DTM Toastmaster Club. Thank you for being a facilitator tonight. Please take a picture.
Oops, okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, Kaman.
All right, next. Okay, next is our distinguished Toastmaster, Louisa Chan from the Lecton KL Toastmaster Club. Thank you, Louisa, for being the facilitator in the breakout room. Thank you so much. Please take a picture.
Look in the camera. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Louisa.
All right. Next is Toastmaster Jessica. Jessia Ang, sorry. Jessia Ang from Great to Be Toastmasters Club. Yeah, thank you, Jess, for being the facilitator tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Thank you.
Jessia.
All right, we still okay. Yeah, and not to forget our test speaker, Travis from MCJO Toastmaster Club. Thank you for your amazing speech. Please
Yeah,
take a
thanks.
picture.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Travis.
All right. Next is our Toastmaster Michelle Ma from Venus Toastmasters Club. Yeah, thank you, Michelle, for being the second test speaker that will be evaluated by many evaluators tonight. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for your help. Please take a picture.
1, 2, 3. Thank you, Michelle, for the courage for taking up the role.
All right. So this finish our recognition. Okay. So over back to you, Toastmaster of the evening, Krista Chin. Thank you.
All right. Like I say, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay. Uh, Alicia, and do you want to hand over, or can I call anyone if there's any airtime?
Okay, please go
Any
ahead. Sir. Thank you.
okay, anyone that needs airtime? If not in time, I believe there's group who wants to stay back. Xiu Fong, if you want, for group one as well. So before, if not, then I'll call Even for her closing remark, and then we can stay back for those who wants to. Even, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Zoom Master, and also thank you, TOE Crystal. First of all, thank you everyone for spending 2 hours and more this evening together with guest speakers Kenny. So I hope everyone learned a lot, not only learn a bit, but learn a lot from our guest speakers. And hopefully we have some golden nuggets to take away tonight and prepare for our upcoming club competition. And just want to let everyone know, evaluation is not part of competition only. In our daily life, we constantly have to give feedback to our peers, to our friends, or during working settings, we might need to give proper evaluations or constructive feedback. So these sessions we can also take this session back and apply in our daily life as well. So thank you for spending these 2 hours. And last but not least, I'd like to have a special recognitions to our organizing chair, Yap Sheldon, because to liaise, to coordinate with so many facilitators, to assign everyone into a proper breakout room, it needs a lot of coordinations and special arrangement. So just to let you know, we've been starting this workshop planning since early of September. So we have constant meeting with Kenny, and then we've been talking to many people to look for facilitators. So it's not like one day job. So special thanks to Sheldon for taking up the role. Yeah. And last but not least, all of the facilitators, 6 of you, very experienced Toastmasters, willing to spend your time and being the general evaluator to facilitate the entire session. We appreciate you and hope in the future we're able to contribute back into your club as well. Please leave your club details in the chat box. So any one of the Toastmasters here, if they're available, they can go clubbing in your club at the same time. Thank you so much. And I think last but not least is Michelle and also Travis. It's a very courageous move, to speak up and then at the same time being evaluated by so many people. It takes a strong heart and it takes a lot of preparation ahead to write the script so that she wouldn't get so many critics or evaluations at the same time. So I hope after tonight she'll be able to take a lot of golden nuggets to improve her speech moving forward. So last but not least, I think we can end this meeting and hope everyone have an enjoyable session. So we will send the meeting recordings so we can always review back tonight's sessions.
Yeah, and also share the slides to all the participants after this meeting.
Okay. Yep. Thanks. Thank you, Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Shall I pause the recording or would you like to continue?
We stop the
Yeah, we can
recording.
stop the recording.